I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Wait, here I am. It helps to unmute yourself.
Okay.
That means that people can hear you. So I want to say there's some Barbie clothes on the floor back there. That's what that is. It's bothering me. I'm going to have to go pick it up. I'm not going to lie. It's bothering me a lot.
You get it?
That's what our cats do. They go find the Barbie clothes and then they drag them all around the house. There's a cat. That's Ethel. That's my old lady. That's my old lady. So yeah, it is September 1st. September already is what I have to say. I want to welcome everybody to the QB show, our September 2015 episode. Gabe, how are you? I see him in the Twitter chat. Thank you. He says he loves the shirt. The shirt just came today. I'm just going to say this. I don't know if anybody watches the Goldbergs. Does anybody watch that show?
I don't, but I should, I heard.
Here's the problem with that is every time I watch that show, the kid has a shirt on that brings me back to like 4th or 5th grade, because I'm pretty sure he's about the same age, I mean, as we are, right? So I'll be 41 in a couple days, basically a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy shit balls. He had a Mork and Mindy shirt on, and Mork and Mindy was my favorite show in 4th grade. I had Mrs. Auger in 4th grade, and Mork and Mindy, I was student of the week. And I'll never forget that the student of the week. Yeah.
You were in school?
Yeah, when I was in 4th grade. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was a smarty pants, just so that you know. Just FYI.
I was just arriving at school thing was kind of freaking me out.
Yeah. So, well, elementary school. I mean, by high school, high school, I didn't go a lot, but I was still like in advanced placement classes, and I had good grades. So, I mean, I graduated like a 3.8, I guess, something, but I didn't really go a lot. Anyway, Mork and Mindy, favorite show. So this kid had the Mork and Mindy. He had this shirt on last week when I was watching it, and I looked at Kevin and I said, what is probably happening in the next 4 minutes is I'm going to go online to the interwebs, and I'm buying that freaking shirt for myself. And sure enough, that happened, but only because it was a toss-up, because it was either this shirt or the I Love Exodore. And I don't know if you all remember Mork and Mindy, but Exodore was the dude who wore the robes, and he was a little crazy. So, yeah. So anyway, that's me, and that's my new shirt. And so there you go. So, but Dawn Woody is off. He's in the process of moving. He's moving from
like half my life off when I do this. I don't know.
Okay, so Woody is off. He's headed from Texas to Tucson. They're moving. He sold another house. That's his thing now.
Those houses.
That's buying and selling houses. So they're headed to Tucson, Arizona. And so he'll be back next week. I will be going next week. I will be on a plane during the show. But Dawn, you have...
I'll be there.
You'll be here. But you have... I'm gonna just do sponsors super, super fast, because I want to give you time, because you have news, and I want to give you ample time. So why don't you talk about the sunglasses you have on and the sponsors that are, related to those?
Avalera.
Yeah.
Avalera. Who wants to do like sales tax? Not me.
I don't want to do sales tax.
But I want to track my time. There's that cat.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to track my time. Totally.
This is my old lady.
I also love to analyze reports with QVinci. I do that, which is also rockin' awesome. Yeah. I also love to grow my business off of other people's money equals Fundera.
Nice. Good job. Well, you just are ripping through all of them. And then we have Skyline, and that's where we can host all of our stuff.
Correct.
It doesn't have to just be QuickBooks. You can host
other stuff.
Files. You could host pictures. You could host other software.
Yeah, totally. Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. And so now I'm going to shut the hell up because I want you to tell us what you have going on. We have a good guest. He's going to be on in about 15 minutes. It's Richard Clark, and he's going to
be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, and he's got good stuff. We're going to be talking about, here he is. So we're going to bring you on in a minute, Richard. Dawn has some really awesome news, and she's going to share it with us. And so I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna let her talk.
I was talking to Stacy earlier. We were having a little combo while I was en route, not Darren route. I was just en route to my office, and we had a great time talking. And I was trying to save our announcement, which isn't like a huge, like, you know, the world's gonna start turning a different way, but at the same time, it's going to keep turning. And so Powerful Accounting is opening their second office, second location in the greater New Haven area. What I love about that is sometimes I find dead bodies, and they're not pointing at me. That's great. Like, they're not like, Brolin, you're in New Haven now. But otherwise, we're actually doing some really great stuff, and we're growing the company. And I've been talking for a long time about how to grow your business. Like, how do you want to grow your business? And I say, like, find what you're passionate about.
Find your jam.
Find your jam and embrace it, right? So this is flying. And figure out what you want to do. And I really that was me.
Oh, okay.
About my pursuit of certified fraud examiner type stuff, and working with tax attorneys when there's IRS issues and conflicts, and other, you know, governmental entities, which was really fun last Wednesday. I love to prove the Department of Labor incorrect, which means dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and like having your stuff together. So we're pretty excited about all the things that are happening, and we're opening a second office a week from today in New Haven with we love them. They're like my brothers. I mean, they're not like my brothers, like blood-wise, but I love how they're developing their business, and they're focusing on helping people who have tax issues or bankruptcy issues or whatever their issues are. And the company is Green Sklar's, and Eric Green and Jeff Sklar's, and they're really great guys, and they work really hard. So we're teaming up with them even tighter than we have been, for growth purposes for ourselves and for support on their side. So we are hiring a new team member, and she'll start next Tuesday. Her name's Sharon, and I haven't come up with a nickname yet, but give me maybe 2 weeks. I'll have a nickname for her. And she's super excited about it. We're super excited about it. I'm not sure what I'm going to call her yet, but we're really, really excited about it. And one of the things that we've been working on, or I've been working on with Anne's help, and she's been enrolled as the support.
Can you? Not
here tonight.
I know, but can you just call her K-Nut for me?
Her name is K-Nuts. We love her. We have everyone in the company has a nickname, and we don't publicly typically announce that, but I'll happy to show her this recording so she knows that she's now publicly K-Nuts.
Oh, yeah, I did that. Sorry.
Fine. It's good for her.
Yeah.
She needs to kind of like, you know, tighten up that. But we are really growing, and I'm focusing on myself as a leader, which is really hard. If you look at yourself and think you're wicked cool, then you're probably missing the entire mark.
So it's hard. When you ask for like, where do I suck and what can I do better? I just did that with Shan. We were talking. I'm like, what? And last year, she gave me really great feedback, and it stings a little, but it ultimately it makes you so much better. She said a lot of times, and she was dead on. She said a lot of times I only reply to half of the email. Like she'll email and she said, I think you're just in a hurry, or maybe you're traveling or whatever, and she said, I don't get like 100% of the answers that I'm looking for, and so I've been really trying to make a conscious effort to like read the whole freaking email, and if there's 3 questions, answering all 3 of them. So it's very interesting.
I think that for a suggestion, because I think we're similar in the well, maybe not, but for me, I would rather get 3 separate 1-question emails than like I say.
No, you want them. No. You would like them. I know how you want them. You want them bullet points.
Yeah.
You don't mind the 3 questions, but you need them in bullet points.
Less than 10 words.
Yes. Yeah.
Or say call me. Like I can't process more than that.
Yeah.
So I've been really big time like researching myself of sorts and trying to reevaluate and become more proactive in my growth as a person, both professionally and personally. And so, you know, opening up another location is pretty hardcore for me, since I would much rather just work by myself and, you know, so much easier. But I know that we are doing some great things, and I have a great team behind me, and we've had a lot of policy changes, and which I would just say if you're a business owner, I would recommend, regardless if you have subcontractors that you outsource or staff. I don't like to call them employees because that makes it sounds gross. I say team members. I would just say and encourage.
Wait, I have a question. I'm interrupting. I'm going to interrupt, and then I'm cutting you off because Richard is waiting.
All right, dude, I get it.
I have 2 questions. So how many, with the new site, how many people will you have on Team Brolin?
So the Powerful Accounting team is 6, and we also still have Keith and Lisa as the tax partners. That makes us 8.
Okay. And
we love Kevin.
I'm going to pose the same question to you. So you have 8 with you. Does that include you or?
It includes me.
Okay.
Because I want to speak on Friday too.
Okay. So I'm going to pose the same question to you that I did Joe was it last week? No, not last week. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. True.
And that is, with your 8 people, how many levels of management reporting do you have in your 8 people? Because he's got, I think he said, like he counted, and I think he said he's got 18 or 21 people or something like that, and he has 4 levels of management in his hierarchy. So how many levels in the 8 people does Brolin have?
So we have 2.
Okay.
We have 1, which is me.
Right.
And my tax partners, because they're actually more bossy than I am. But you know,
Are you talking about Keith?
Keith and Lisa.
Well, see, Lisa I didn't come across as bossy, but I'm going to say Keith is...
Well, actually, she's silent bossy partner.
Oh, she's the silent bossy pants? Okay.
Yeah.
Then that to me is more... I would listen to that more than I will Keith and his... And I did this, and I did it very respectfully.
I agree. And then we have 1 other level, and her name is Anne, otherwise known as...
K-Nuts.
Everyone knows K-Nuts.
K-Nuts.
She also is right now helping manage scenarios and stuff, but it doesn't get any deeper than that. That's it. For now, I mean, we're not like a 30-person firm who needs 3 levels, I would say. I don't even know if we'll probably stay at 2 levels for.
And you're not like Woodard conglomerate, which is what I was asking Joe, and I was not being like bitchy or snarky or anything. I just didn't know what Joe called his thing now. So he's
gonna leave if we don't.
I know. You know what, Richard? Introduce yourself and tell our audience what it is that you do. You're with Intuit, and while you're doing that, I gotta see this right here. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
It's a little piece of Barbie clothes right there, and I gotta go get it. So while you're doing that, Richard, I'm gonna go pick that up because my obsessive compulsiveness, which I don't really have OCD, but that is gonna drive me crazy.
Tell us about you, buddy. We're excited that you're here. Thank you so much.
No problem. Happy to join. My name is Richard Clark. I've been with Intuit in a number of different roles for coming up on 14 years now.
Forever.
Long time, long time. I feel like I'm part of the lifer club here.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens with that. So, but yeah, I've been with Intuit a very long time in a variety of roles. The last 7 years I've been working within the desktop team within the QuickBooks. I started out in the Quicken world and migrated my way over to desktop. Did a lot of the work on what we internally call care engineering, fixing a lot of the broken issues over the years. So spent a long time working on the installer, cleaning that up so we could start having fewer install errors. Fixing up some of the data damage issues, and really got involved on the product side with the bank feeds refresh a couple years back. So I was one of the 2 PMs on that, and created the nice little rules engine for everybody, and I'm working on a couple of different things since then.
Oh, you're in charge of the rules.
Once upon a time, yes. It's been handed off long since, but that was my baby once upon a time.
I like rules. I mean, like for bank feeds. In life, sometimes not so much.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
It's great for automation.
Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely great for automation. So yeah, I've been working on a bunch of different things, and recently started working on the clients that we're talking about today. So that's been kind of a fun and very different project within Intuit. So suppose we can go ahead and introduce that.
Yeah, so we took a look at it a little bit a couple weeks ago, but we didn't really get into it. I want you to really we have some questions. I have some questions. And I don't know if Dawn already asked about.
I didn't.
Okay.
I just wanted to,
So for those, because some people know about the Windows client and some people don't. I have my own opinions about it. I will say that. And you and I kind of discussed it a little bit. We did a practice hangout earlier today. So for those in our audience who don't know, what is this? The QuickBooks Online app for Windows, and I think there's more importantly is not just what is it. I think the confusion is how does it fit in overall to what Intuit always refers to as kind of the QuickBooks Online, the whole ecosystem that you guys have. That's like the big buzzword that you guys are always using. So what is it? How does it fit into the whole thing?
Sure.
So happy to start
there. So the desktop app is really just a way to, it's a hybrid app. So in the world of computing, especially in the last 4 to 5 years, you're really starting to see a movement where web apps offer a tremendous amount of flexibility and advantages over the desktop. But in a lot of cases, you lose some of that productivity aspect that you get from the desktop capabilities. So people have 30 years of training where they're firing off through hotkeys, menus, they learn how to navigate certain ways. You have the local computing power, so you're not having to do everything. Every request can take a little bit longer online. So what this is really more akin to, say, Outlook on your desktop or some of the newer apps, Box, Spotify, Evernote. All these are web platforms at the end of the day, and fundamentally they're web technology. But they have interactions, they have apps that install on your desktop system to enhance the overall experience.
I see. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. You weren't done.
Oh, go ahead with the question. It's fine. That's a good point for it.
Well, no, what I was going to say, you and I were talking, and Alex Blakey isn't at Intuit. He has since moved on, but I think it was back in January of 2014 when he first showed me this, and I said, I want to get it now because I think it's going to be a game changer, and you guys hadn't even started building it yet.
Correct.
Because I really feel like this, and we've had the Mac client for a while, And,
Yes.
and that's cool, but there's not a lot of accountants who use Mac. You know, it's just not something I do. But I'm not necessarily an accountant. I'm a bookkeeper. I'm just a little bookkeeper. But I think, and I told Alex this back then, I mean, it was almost 2 years ago, I truly feel like this is the bridge. This Windows client is a bridge that is going to bring a lot of accounting professionals, whether they're bookkeepers or whatever their designation is or however they identify. I really, truly believe that this Windows client is going to bring a lot of those hardcore desktop, those heavy desktop users who have kind of been digging in their heels and really don't want to move to QuickBooks Online or just haven't been comfortable doing it. I think this is what's going to help them do that. It's kind of, should I say this, and this is probably, I can say this because I don't work for Intuit, this is kind of like the free crack rock on the corner, right? Like this is kind of like, yeah, okay.
I absolutely agree that this is definitely a bridge.
Okay, but not the free crack rock.
There's a lot of advantages you get from the apps themselves specifically. So in addition to some of the classic navigation that you'll recognize from the desktop software, which is going over really well with a lot of the accountants we released it to in the last month, you're getting a lot of productivity gains. So what we're doing is we've introduced a caching system that actually pulls down all the QBO pages plus some of the business logic. You no longer have to worry about refresh. And you can actually do, when you enter information, the calculations get applied on the fly as they're synced back to QuickBooks. So things as simple as on QBO, I'm sure as you're aware, every time you change an invoice, you have to go over and refresh your P&L or whatever report's open to get the changes reflected.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things where I kept trying, well, I think one of the last times I was out at what Dawn and I call the mothership, we were out in Mountain View, and I kept saying, but why? People are going to want to know why they should use this.
Yep.
What is the big deal? And I think it was Alex just said, well, you know, one of the things, just kind of offhand, he was like, well, all the reports auto-fresh. And I was like, wait a second, hold the freaking phone. Like, that's all you have to say to get almost every accountant, every pro advisor who's been bitching about QBO for years, because that's one of the biggest complaints that they've had about QBO is, oh my God, the reports don't auto-refresh, and I have to click refresh, and blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, that right there, those, I don't even know if it's 2 words or 1 word, but that is one of the biggest reasons why I think accounting professionals are going to want to check out this Windows app.
Absolutely, and it gets better from there. So historically within a browser, I'm sure everyone's familiar by now, you're limited to the tabs. So if you want to open more windows, you're pretty much restricted to the tabs. With these apps, since we actually are able to take care of the desktop functionality, we can now actually open multiple child windows.
Well, you can pull the tabs off and throw them wherever you want.
Yeah, you can, but with this you can actually resize, move them all over the place.
I can do that. I mean, I'm not trying to discount, but I mean, I can do that with tabs. I can pull them off and have different browser windows, and I can do kind of whatever I want. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying let me see it though.
I know. But also, you know what? I want to say, again, I'm going to reiterate, and I know you can't say this because you work into it. I feel like the Windows app is the gateway drug to QuickBooks Online.
I think it's going to be a lot easier. There's without a doubt a shock that occurs from desktop users when they first land in QBO.
He's totally right.
It looks very, very different.
Yeah.
And you lose a lot of the functionality. I mean, I've worked with a number of desktop accountants over the years, and I've watched accountants go a full hour without ever touching their mouse.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
That is not possible in QBO today.
A couple times.
Yeah.
So it absolutely, by bringing back the hotkeys and bringing back the ability to spread out across multiple monitors and the refresh, you actually give a lot of accountants the ability to move at a decent speed. In addition, by bringing the pages down, It's not quite as fast as desktop today, but it's a whole lot faster than waiting for QBO to download the page each and every time.
And I will say this too, and I'm playing devil's advocate, and I don't mean to be adversarial with you at all, because I've been using QBO.
I won't be adversarial with you.
I'm not going to be. I'm just saying, for someone who has been using QuickBooks Online since 2004, so 2000, yeah, it's been basically 11 years. I don't really think it takes that long for the pages to load. So, like, speed has never, at least for the last couple of years, I mean, back in the day, it sort of sucked. But, I mean, the last 4 or 5 years, I mean, even Brad Smith says it sucked.
It's gotten dramatically better, and it certainly will continue to improve.
But I don't think it's that super fast. Like, I'm not sitting there going like, oh my god.
I think for someone coming from the desktop side, the experience is quite different.
Different ball game. That's what I think.
But I do both, so I use both.
Yeah. So, but if you have to listen.
Did you just do this?
I did.
Oh, we are so. I will wrestle you right to the ground. Okay.
Who have not been using QBO since 2004. So you're not the majority. That's the thing. You are the minority on this topic, which is good, because he's trying to help the people who have not the minority come along.
I agree. I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
QBO is a transition. It's a learning curve, not only for the end users and accountants of the world. And there's definitely been some resistance. At the end of the day, nobody likes learning new stuff.
Right.
You're comfortable with what is in front of you, and you kind of want to stick with that. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a doctor, accountant, or a software engineer. I think anytime they make a change at Facebook, there's always a month and a half of grumbling, and eventually people adopt and move on. The move to QBO is no different. It takes time to learn. It's a challenge.
Yep.
And this really actually, like you said, this functions as a bit of a gateway drug in that it carries over. It allows you to use QBO in the same way you're largely using desktop. It's no longer an unfamiliar experience when you land there.
Right. So let's make a list, shall we? My question, because I like lists. I'm a list maker. So why would a customer use the app? Speed, right?
Speed and productivity.
Speed and productivity. But I mean, like, specifically, like, that's pretty general. Like, so speed, we have, like, auto refresh. Like,
yep, auto refresh is one of the big ones.
The windows, like the way that you can move the windows around.
The windows, spreading them out across monitors. Hotkeys, just in general for navigation, easier navigation. Okay. So those are the big four in my book, and from what I've seen in talking to a number of accountants so far, the big ones are really the auto refresh and the ability to truly spread the screens around at will.
I think so too. And the other, oh shoot, I just had another question and I can't remember what it was. Damn it all.
I have one.
Shit. Okay, go ahead.
Not really a question. I would say.
Oh, this is a comment. Okay, it was Galley. No, go ahead, Dawn, and then Galley.
Well, I would just say that from a non-expert, like, trying to get into the QBO mind frame, as, you know, I mean, I prepare taxes, I do all that stuff. And so you're right, I don't want to learn something new. But the login process for a new person to QBO will make you sometimes stab your eyes out. So if you can give me a Windows, what I feel is normal, whether I'm learning or not, there's not a lot of learning curve if you're doing taxes, CFO work, write-up work, you know, audits, and all those kind of things. If you're doing 8,000 different things, you don't want a huge learning curve. So I would say one of my biggest things is not necessarily like the speed, because I think QBO is fine with speed. Like, when I can get into the thing, I'm good with the speed. It's an internet-based thing, and listen, Smart Vault's slower, okay? Like, it's you click on a vault and you might as well just go have a dinner. But QBO,
like a 4-course meal, at least. Yeah.
But for QBO, it's pretty quick. So, like, speed is not my problem. What my problem is my ability to maneuver in and out of my clients' files, because when they're going to pay me, I want to get in and I want to get out. And so I don't want to camp. I don't want any camping. So that's what I love about this option. So I would love to. I want you to show it. Is that too quick? Am I being too quick?
No. I want him to show it too, but we have some comments. So Jan Hawk, one of our favorite peeps, Jan says, this is by far my favorite product from Intuit. She uses it every day. And she says it makes her feel faster and it makes her feel like she's a QBO pro, which she is. So I'm just going to say she totally is. And then Christine Galley, who is another person who we just love Christine. She's we just like all of our audience people. They're really great. But Christine says that she had some issues with Windows 10. Is that like an anomaly, or is that kind of something?
Possibly an anomaly. Really depends on what it is. So we did test it on Windows 10.
Okay.
Windows 10 builds available to us for quite a while. So it should work fine on Windows 10. In fact, my other system that I use is a Surface Pro 3 with Windows 10 installed, and it's been running cleanly, and no issues on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
So it may be an anomaly. It may be something to the system. We'd have to hear a little bit more to get a sense of what's going on.
Yeah, I think she said it crashed, and then she tried to reinstall it, and she still can't get it to work, is what she said. So maybe I can put her in. I have both of your emails. Maybe I will.
Yeah, send it across, and we'll get her connected with someone who can help her out, because that doesn't sound right. If there's install issues, then we definitely want to be aware of that.
I will make sure that I connect her with you either before the show ends or right after the show ends. How about that?
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get her some help. Absolutely.
Yeah. We all really need help, but in a different way.
Well, yeah, that is true of everyone.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so let's see it, because we want to see, like, because we kind of looked at it a little bit, but we didn't really, dig into it.
We want a demo. Okay.
We can absolutely demo. Just pop up sharing here. So bringing it up, one of the things I did skip is, and it is just a nice convenience, is the fact, because it is a desktop app, you do have the option to stay signed in permanently, so you don't have to log in every single session. This is just a standard QBO account, but it works similar from the QBOA side, where if you need to flip between your end users' companies, it's just right here in the bar. So it's just as simple as click and load.
Nice. I love how the little logo fills up.
It is a nice design. I was quite pleased with that. I think that was one of the better ones I've seen come from our designers in a while. So, well, it's trying to move. This one is not a fully set up company. So we'll go back to our world's favorite construction company. That's that. Then just in terms of the actual menu items, this is probably one of the bigger things, particularly for the people who are just coming across for the first time from desktop. The fact that the menus are there, they're organized in a way that's familiar from desktop, and the vast majority of hotkeys that were there are the same, which just makes getting around that much easier. Versus the traditional QBO, where if you want to get in, you got to click and click. You can really just jump the things on the fly without, like launching an invoice is just simple as Control-I without having to touch anything. So you certainly feel like you have a little bit of a productivity gain there. And then because you pre-cache the window the first time, the second load time is typically going to be a little bit faster.
I have noticed that. I will say that.
Which is always, even though, like you said, the internet's getting faster by the day and QBO performance is increasing by the day, but so is the app performance. And as a matter of fact, the Mac version is actually running a little bit faster than the desktop. They recently implemented some changes to even push it to the next level, where page loads are about 1.5 times faster than web alone. So we're working on getting some of those similar changes into a future release of the desktop side. So we are definitely not done pushing the performance envelope. There's a lot more tricks we can work with.
Awesome.
And actually, you know what, we will run we'll go expenses by vendor to show off our nice little auto refresh. So let's go with a bill. So we will add in a charge for good old Bank of any city here. See if
My
we
favorite bank.
It is a very famous,
Yeah.
world famous bank.
Just like Christy Abercrombie is one of my best friends. I mean, she's my best customer. I mean, over the years, I can't tell you how much crap I have sold to that woman. Goods, services. I mean, she just buys anything I want to sell her.
Absolutely. We all know and love her. There are many, many great names in these files. The key is being
my name. Woody and I have been trying to get our names into one of these sample files.
It is a little bit of a process.
I haven't.
It's typically internal people only because it does take a waiver.
I know. Well, I mean, Intuit pretty much owns me to a certain extent. I refer to Intuit as my benevolent overlords. So, I mean, they can pretty much do whatever they want. I'm surprised it's not in there already. So, I pretty much have signed a million waivers, NDAs. Anyway, I just want to get my name in there.
Absolutely.
Oh, and while you're doing this, I'll let you describe what you're doing, and I'm going to go and find the link and post it in the chat room to download the app as well.
That I can do. So the link.
I can do that. You do what you're doing, and you explain what you're doing, and I'll go find the link.
So we're just adding a bill. Just adding a nice little bill, and once we pay the bill, you'll actually see the. Oh, actually, no. Once we entered the bill, so it did already reflect on the P&L. So we did a $10,000 bill, and without touching anything, Bank of any city is now $12,000, up from $2,000. So instantaneous refresh across the board, which is fantastic. Given that the vast majority of challenges around Reconcile involve real-time work and being able to see the changes reflected in real time, makes the whole process a lot easier.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is there anything in particular, any specific thing that anyone wants to see beyond the auto refresh there?
No, I mean, I think anything that you can probably show. Oh, there's all the keyboard shortcuts.
This is your full list of keyboard shortcuts. So a nice convenient PDF format, convenient for printing out and hanging on your wall as you get used to it. A lot more than you had in just QBO.
Interesting. Nice. That's nice.
So that's a nice, easy way to get started with that. We've seen the multi-window. A little hard to demo multi-monitor in this scenario. You'll just have to take it on faith that it most definitely spreads.
So I have a question. One of the things that I love in the browser is the left nav collapse. So it gives me a little more real estate. Can you resize that or minimize that at all?
Yeah, it does not resize today.
Okay.
So it is not, because that was a functionality that was in QBO Labs. So that is not available through. We don't have Labs integration for third-party add-ons yet.
Okay.
So it is restricted there today.
Okay. So what are some of the newer features? And I don't know if you're allowed to say like what's on the roadmap. I don't know how much you're allowed to say, but what I know you guys released this a couple weeks ago. Have there been any additions to it since you first released it?
There has not been another release yet.
Okay.
We are targeting for releasing pretty much every couple of months, which is going to be very similar to the QBO release schedule.
Okay.
That's about as much as I'm allowed to say. We're obviously not allowed to pre-announce specific features.
Right.
Just the fact that, and I can say that we will keep pushing the performance envelope to continue speeding up the functionality.
Fair enough.
We don't want to go off and build a lot of functionality that's not going to be in QBO. So obviously that creates parity and disadvantages the web experience, which we certainly do not want to do. We want to make sure it's the full experience for you, whether you're working on the web or in the product. So that should hopefully give you a little bit of a hint of the plans as we move forward.
Nice. The other question is, are there any specific benefits, maybe are there any features that would benefit accounting professionals versus small business owners? Is there any difference between the
There is
two?
no difference, effectively, between the QBOA version and, well, it is the same version. If you log in with an accountant, a QBOA account, it'll take you to your QBOA view. If you log in through a standard file, it'll log you in under a standard account.
So when you log in as the accountant user, are you getting the new QBOA with the client? You don't have the client. Do you have the client list and that kind of stuff? How does it look?
So basically, this is all the QBO section in the middle. And if you logged in under QBOA, this entire middle section would just become the QBOA. So this outer shell is really all the software. The visual part of the software is just this upper top bar and then the left nav.
Okay,
Everything
cool.
else in the middle is just QBO.
Fair enough. Cool beans.
That's awesome.
I like that. And the other thing is, well, I got that. I downloaded, or I posted the link to download that in Twitter. And obviously, I'm assuming as long as you have a QuickBooks Online subscription, what's the cost for the app? It's probably...
Well, the app itself is free. It's just included.
Right, exactly.
It's no different than the mobile app. It's just another way to access the software. So the reality is, if it's just a user who's in there once a month doing 1 or 2 transactions, there's probably not going to be a lot of performance benefit or navigation benefit for that matter. But for the users who are in there all day, every day, there's definitely going to be some benefit in terms of time saved. And we actually are working on getting some good measurements there for the first time. We've never actually, we know what the individual page load times are in terms of performance. We've never actually done an end-to-end study of how all the aspects together result in end-to-end time savings. So I've got the team working on that now.
So here's a really good comment in the chat room, and someone is asking, are you able to change the desktop icon? Because she's saying it's the same as, say, like Pro Premiere. It's the same as QuickBooks Desktop, and it would be nice to be able to tell whether or not it was QBO, QBOA, you know, like to be able to differentiate it, I guess. That's what she's saying. I use a Mac, so I don't even, this is bad. I couldn't tell you what the
So I will say that that is a point of contention for a number of people.
Yeah.
We've had that discussion with our internal branding teams a number of times now, and we're going to try and figure something out there.
Well, you could always rename it. I mean, that's what I always did.
So right now it shows QuickBooks. This is the client. If you're installing a desktop version, it'll say QuickBooks 2015 or QuickBooks Accountant 2015.
Right.
So you really do have to look at the text. Unfortunately, the icon itself, unfortunate in my opinion, but the icon itself is identical.
Well, QuickBooks Desktop icon has been the same for at least 4 or 5 years. So.
No, it has changed to the round logo.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that from a desktop perspective, I've always changed it to QB 2012, QB 2013, QB 2014.
Exactly.
And now the logo's different, so I would name it Desktop 2015 and leave the other QBO logo, which you probably can't change. I don't know.
Right. I mean, leave the icon.
Yeah.
That is an easy way to solve it.
Easy. Not complicated, people. Don't
Yeah,
make
and you can change. I mean, with Windows, you can change. You can change an icon.
Yep.
Right.
You can change it to whatever picture you want. But what I always do is, because I don't like it to have the big long name under the shortcut on my desktop, I've always changed it to QBA 2015
Right.
or QBES 5.0, or, you know what I mean? So I would probably just change the name of it so that I would know. I mean, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, you know,
as users, you have to make up for that because we can't make that clear for you. But that is a nice, easy solve.
Not complicated. It's not like doing an audit, for instance, like a full-blown audit. It's just changing the name of an icon. Stacy Kildall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry. There was somebody, I thought it was somebody else who was having, I thought it was Christine who was having the Windows difficulty. Sorry. It's hard to see.
So we've had a lot of issues with logging in through the internet. But this is
But I got right in. When you asked me, I got right into your account.
Well, that's because you've been using QBO for 14,000 years. Some of us have been using the desktop. But this is great. I just downloaded it. Just brought it in. I love it.
So just a couple more questions, and then we'll let you go. And I want to thank you very much for taking the time.
Awesome.
I knew you were going to love it, Dawn.
I do love it.
This is your free crack rock. This is your gateway drug.
Yes, I honestly believe this is gonna. There's a lot of legacy desktop, a lot of longtime desktop accountants and bookkeepers. So I think this will make it actually practical for them to move because it's easy for them to learn, and it'll be easier for their customers to learn.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about patches anymore. You don't have to worry about backups. You don't have to worry about moving the file back and forth through Dropbox. Just makes collaboration easier.
I'm going to say
yeah, I love me some QBO. I'm not going to say that I don't. I love it. So a couple questions. So have you talked to, I mean, obviously we've heard already in the, there is something going on upstairs if people can hear the screaming.
I know. Are there wolves in your home?
I'm not sure what is happening. I'm assuming that it has to do with some sort of video game. That's all I can guess. I have no clue what's going on up there. Eric and I were playing on the PlayStation right before the show started. But anyway, we've heard from a few people in the chat, but what are some of the other users saying? I mean, do people love it? Do they like it? What are they saying?
We've gotten some pretty spectacular feedback so far. We launched it to the accountants. We sent out that email on August 3rd. We've had about a little over 20,000 unique users log in that time frame. We just barely announced it to the general population on August 27th, so it's only been out for a few days. We don't have a lot of small businesses on there yet, but we do have a lot of accountants on there, and we're getting some pretty good feedback. People are pretty excited.
Nice. And then my question to you is, and I know this is kind of a question that everybody asks, and I don't know that anybody can ever really answer it, because I'm always like, I don't know. What do you think about the accounting software moving online and the trend? I mean, do you see it slowing down? Do you see it keeping going? It's kind of a question I really almost hesitate to ask, but I feel kind of obligated because this really is sort of straddling.
Yep.
You know, this is an application that's, you know, it's kind of riding both sides of that.
Yep. I think we're the first in the industry to really do this on an accounting platform.
I agree.
There's obviously tons and tons of people who are trying to move into the accounting space over time. And I think, at least my opinion and what we've been seeing along the industry, is it's super easy to do one little aspect of the accounting to put your toe in the water. But as soon as you start getting into the full accounting space, there's a reason it took 25 years to build the desktop product, and it's taken however long to get QBO up to where it is today. It's not a light lift. It's complex. And given that a lot of people are just trying to get caught up on the basics of accounting, I don't think anybody's even trying to think ahead like we are at this point, and how do we make it that much better and that much faster everywhere in the world.
Nice.
So I absolutely think you will see this. I suspect that once we get this in market, and we're probably going to see some pretty rapid traction, you'll probably see some of the competitors trying to follow.
Well, everybody always does that with you guys.
It's not uncommon.
So you remember Microsoft accounting?
All too well.
Oh gosh, so bless their hearts.
We tried hard.
I know they did, and the first time I saw it, I was like, this looks familiar. So there's a question here. Does the audit log work the same, whether the transactions are entered using the app versus in the browser?
100% same. So the instant you enter anything into this client, it is just, you can consider it the exact same as entering it into QBO.
Yeah,
Nice.
not all local.
Yeah, it's not saved locally, it's not cached locally, it's instantaneously saved. It is a full-time connectivity app, so if you lose connection,
Yeah.
you will not be able to enter transactions, it will kick you out. But it is exactly the same functionality as QBO today.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And I apologize because it was not Christine Galley who had the problem. It was someone else who was having issues. So whomever it was that was in the chat room, if you could email show at the QB show and let me know, I will put you in touch with Richard. Please do that.
Yep, happy to get you connected with someone who will help you out.
Yep. And I think, yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. This was really great. I think this was a lot of, there was a lot of confusion. I posted something about this on, or I saw somebody post some blog article or something on LinkedIn, and it had something to do with, oh, Intuit, just to make matters more confusing. And I thought, really? Like, that's kind of a little over the top.
Actually,
Like,
really awesome.
because another reason, too, and I don't even think we talked about this, what I thought, Woody and I were talking about, I think the app is a great solution. So what if you lose connectivity? So can you still work? Let's say I have really crappy internet. Maybe I am in some kind of rural area and I don't have the greatest, most reliable internet connection. No, Michigan has...
Kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
In certain areas that
Come back
don't have
down.
Comcast...
Come back down.
No. I'm going to bitch about Don't get me started about Comcast. But anyway...
Kidding. Sorry, Richard.
I know. So, but let's say I live in a rural area where, you know, I'm still getting AOL discs with 500 free hours, right?
So,
That's
we are very
So
aware of this.
how would this work? So what Woody and I were thinking is this might be a really good solution to be able to use that, because maybe, I mean, would you still be able to use the app if you lost connection and then have everything sync back up? I mean, how does that work?
Not today.
Okay.
And we obviously can't pre-announce anything, so you can read between the lines if you want, but we're very aware in the global market outside the U.S. that the vast majority of the world's internet connection is through their phone. And certainly when you're traveling the world, you certainly know connectivity is not guaranteed as much as it is here in the U.S. right now.
Right.
So,
Or if maybe you were flying non-Delta, because Delta has Wi-Fi on every flight, maybe you're flying some not Wi-Fi enabled airline and you need to get some work done.
right. Or you're flying over the North Pole and you lose connectivity during that time frame.
Exactly. Very
So
good.
there are many scenarios there, many potential solutions. So we certainly don't have anything in progress, but it's certainly something that we're very, very interested in.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
No problem. My pleasure.
And let me know when you have something new and exciting to announce with it, and we'll have you back anytime.
Yep, absolutely. So there's, like you said, there's most definitely going to be releases like this pretty regularly, like there is with QBO. And the focus early on is we're just going to keep pushing on how to make it better and faster.
Yay! We like better and faster.
Nice.
Can never go wrong with better and faster.
You really can't. Well, I mean, I guess depending on the situation. Okay.
All right, we won't go there.
Well, thank you, though, so much. Really,
Sorry.
really great.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. All right. So I have one more announcement that we need to make. Dawn, do you want to do it? Because it's kind of in your neck of the woods. No? You don't want to do it?
No.
Okay. Then I will. I already posted a link to it in the chat room, and it is the Greater Boston / Providence Woodard Network Group.
I didn't know what you were talking about, honestly. I was
okay.
like, I'm not pregnant.
Oh, nor am I. That would be.
You know what? I would kill Kevin.
I'm just gonna say it would be
anyway. That's a whole
true miracle if that happened here. This factory is shut down. Anyway.
That's a whole nother problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It works great.
It's like a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is you guys may know it used to be the NAN group, but now it's the, because Woodard is now, like, it's not Scaling New Heights, and it's not National Advisor Network, and it's now Woodard, just one Woodard. If you guys watched the show a couple weeks ago, I kept calling it Woodard Conglomerate and one Woodard. But Joe Woodard kind of consolidated all of his companies and branded them all with one name. One Woodard. One Woodard is what we call it. So it's now the Woodard Network. It's not National Advisor Network. It's not NAN. It's Woodard Network. And so they have a Greater Boston / Providence Woodard Network group forming. Cool. Yeah. And their inaugural meeting is at the Middlesex Savings Bank, and it's going to be at 120 Flanders. I'm sorry, I'm a huge
Post it.
I posted a link, but I'm just going to say it too in case somebody's not paying attention to the Twitter. Flanders Road, and so I'm a big Simpsons fan, so I just think of Flanders. And it's in Westboro, Massachusetts, and it's going to be September 17th, and it's 12 until 3 p.m. Lunch is going to be provided, but you should probably get there at 11:30 because that's when registration begins. I will post another link on the Twitters for everybody. So if you
my cooler drinker.
Okay.
QuickBooks Connect. Who's going to QuickBooks Connect? It's going to crank.
Oh, I'll be there.
QuickBooks Connect. Come on, people.
I will be there, and I just found out who is going to be moderating my work-life sessions with me.
Okay.
So part 1 will be Johnny Redman, again, just like at Scaling New Heights, and George. George Williams is gonna do it again, like he did at Scaling New Heights. And then I have, because you are unavailable, as is Katie Peterson, you guys were there for Scaling New Heights. You guys are teaching other sessions, so for the group activities, you guys won't be there. So my other 3 facilitators are going to be Loretta Finnis, my friend from Australia, and Beth Damus, there's one of my cats right there, and my last facilitator there she is going to be, oh my gosh, it's Loretta, and it's Beth, and it is Allie. Sorry, gosh, I totally gapped out on that. So yeah, it's Loretta, Beth, John, George, because we have a big group, and Allie Malloy, and so the 5 of us are doing part 1, and it's a very interactive group activity, and then part 2 is Dawn and I. And that is really more individual stuff where we are going to help you come up with your personal work-life harmony, work-life balance plans.
Weapons, people.
And Dawn and I are doing that together. So I'm really excited about those sessions. So if you did it at Scaling New Heights and you're going to be at QuickBooks Connect, you might want to come back. It's going to be a little bit different. The part 1 is going to be very similar, but still, I think worth coming back for a second round of it, and then the second day, the part 2 session is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all. I got sidetracked with the cat. Sorry. She never comes up and is like this lovey.
I love cats.
Yeah,
Cats are
she's not this affectionate. So this makes me wonder, like, who has. I don't even know who this is. That's all I'm saying.
The space invader.
I don't know. I feel like someone has abducted her and stolen her like brain, because she's never lets me touch her or pet her. So anyway, Richard, thank you very much for coming on the show. Again, I appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
It was really great. I have it installed on my computer right now. I have a very differential because of my naming convention, and I feel better.
That's awesome.
I'm not even lying. I'm not even making that up.
No, she's not.
I'm
not even lying.
I'm not a liar. Not doing it.
This time I'm not.
Excited to have you on board.
I mean, sometimes I do, but not tonight. Because Richard's. I'm serious. This is shitballs crazy.
It is pretty cool. I knew you were going to like it, so I'm really glad that you were here.
I like it because I'm so happy to not have to type in my password or go to which website, and this makes me harmonious. Harmony, get it? They can quote me.
Nice. Very nice.
Quote me.
Very nice. So next week we have...
Richard, are you going to... Wait, stand by.
Okay.
Richard, are you going to be at QB Connect?
More than likely, yes.
Okay, that's not the answer I was looking for. I am... All right, I have some phone calls to make.
I should be there, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm not going to pressure you.
Next week, I will be gone. Dawn and Woody will be here, and Jason Tomachter will be here talking about QuickBooks 2016, which is being released actually next Tuesday. So it's being released.
I'm also going to demo the Mac version of the QB Windows QBO application. I'm going to demo it myself.
All right. That's cool. All right. So I'm just gonna cat. I don't know what's going on here. I know, it's just crazy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. 2016 QuickBooks 2016.
Bam.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Bye, you guys. I have to say Buscadan Laser. Buscadan Laser.
Buscadan Laser.